Welcome back, everybody. If I'm right, this is the time to start our parallel session. So, greetings to everyone. I would like to ask our speakers, Dan Harris, Jamie Lowe, and Yari Laru, to keep their camera on, at least when they are speaking, and keep their microphone on, at least when they are speaking. So, we have a very limited time and really eruptive speakers full with thoughts. So I really don't want to steal any minute from them. However, each of them deserves a very bold introduction because they are wonderful experts from all around the world. So I would like to suggest that if you agree that we try to keep like 15 minutes to each talk, 15 between 20, and then we can save some time for conversation in the end if we manage to do so. I will remind you at least when 15 minutes passed, and let's see how the rest 5 minutes is managed by you. So that's why I also will limit my introductions much shorter than you would deserve to that. If I would like to introduce you, it would be same length as your talks. So please forgive me about that. So I would like to call on stage Dan Harris, who is my wonderful friend from Melbourne, Australia, and they are the Associate Dean Research and Innovation at the School of Education at RMIT in Melbourne. They are also Australian Research Council Future Fellow and the co-director of the Creative Agency Research Lab, which I'm also a happy member of. And they are editing Creativity, Education and the Arts series from Belgrave and authored more than 100 articles, book chapters, many dozens of books, but they are also author of plays and theater pieces, films, and spoken word performances. So a truly creative practitioner and researcher and artist. So warm welcome. I can't wait to hear your reflection about this AI buzz what we are experiencing all around. The floor is yours, Dan. Please switch on your mic. Unmute. Okay, please give to Dan the opportunity to unmute. So I would like to ask organizer.
Yes, it worked. Thank you.
Here we go.
We're good. Thank you, Christoph. It's great to be here. And
Perfect.
hello, everyone. Just like to thank Christoph and the other hosts of this wonderful event. It's such an honor to be here. I'll try and keep it to 15 minutes and hope it contributes some ideas to this wonderful gathering. Thank you. So I don't have a PowerPoint. I'm just going to speak to you and hope toward a dialogue today. I'm going to focus in this talk on juxtaposing two powerful cultural forces in tension with each other here in Australia in contemporary education. You can hear me okay?
We hear you very well, crystal clear. Go on.
Wonderful.
Perfect. Thanks.
Okay, so the first idea I'm going to explore is the government's response to teacher shortages, teacher dissatisfaction, and an inability to retain the teachers that we have. The second is what is being called, at least here, the higher education revolution of AI, predictive AI, and machine learning. So I've been asking myself, how would our elders, our education elders, see the return to direct instruction, which is the turn we've taken in the last 12 to 18 months here in Australia? John Dewey, one of our education elders, his core teaching is that all of life is pedagogical and that the value of art is in one's experiencing it, not abstractly learning about it. And that, I believe, is a world away from the current education direction in today's Australia. Those changes take a direct instruction approach to teaching phonics, not as in Korea and other countries of our neighboring in East Asia, not as a baseline to higher order thinking skills, but as an end in itself, narrowing our curriculum largely to literacy, numeracy, and STEM test scores, standardized test scores. That is after we recently came fourth in the global PISA creative thinking test, a success that has not even been mentioned, much less celebrated by our Australian government, including our education minister, Mr. Jason Clare. So how is that interacting with John Dewey's love of the outside world? How is it interacting with generative AI and this learning revolution that we're experiencing now? With how is it interacting or responding to global workforces with the need for untangling propaganda and fake news from the truth that's so prevalent right now, especially? Or with the accelerating climate crisis, with proliferating wars and religious, racial, and political extremism? Well, I argue that it's not responding to those at all. Numerous education scholars have explored in great detail how creativity is an embodied, relational, and in fact, quite scientific process that does not exist in isolation. And STEAM, as everyone here knows already, is a perfect example of this. But again, STEAM, sadly, is not widely taken up in Australia. It's put aside in favor of a STEM alone focus. Surely sustainable futures, whether they be economically, ecologically, or emotionally, depend on the type of longer term commitments, like STEAM approaches, than the ones on the table at present. I argue that they're not at odds with the rise of predictive AI, or what some are calling the higher revolution, education revolution, within which, and I argue instead, all of these issues are entangled together. So just briefly, last year, the same year as the education minister returned us to a direct instruction model of literacy and numeracy learning, the national arts minister in our country, Tony Burke, released the new national cultural policy called Revive. Revive mentions education 37 times. It links arts and education as core to a vibrant and progressive cultural landscape incorporating AI, well-being, and the future generations, including First Nations knowledges. It reminds us that the more than 3.2 million Australian young people aged 15 to 24 deserve experiential pathways into cultural and creative jobs, and they are not going to get those pathways through a return to phonics and direct instruction. Given Australia's short-term desire to raise literacy and numeracy scores, which is understandable, but the long-term goal of improving well-being, a vibrant cultural sector, globally competitive workplace skills, a combination of the learning sciences and creative skills and capacities is one strategy that I am arguing for, and I see evidenced in not only Korea, but many other of our East Asian neighbors. We have much to learn from you. Revive claims that creativity and design thinking have been shown to be increasingly valuable to a range of different disciplines, including to train and upskill individuals across a range of different industries. Just after the announcement of Singapore's, for example, first place position in the PISA creative thinking test, its government announced an overhaul of the entire education system based in design processes. Similarly, the Edinburgh Futures Institute in Scotland has been progressing an interdisciplinary design-based approach to higher education, and our cultural policy revives explicitly states that a rethinking of our education system is desperately needed. Our government, however, refuses at present to do so. Not only COVID, but its acceleration of automated decision making and predictive AI can be seen as a perfect opportunity, which is why this conference is so timely, to rethink and to redo our cultural, creative, and education sectors, including the power and the value of ethical generative AI advancement. I have for a long time argued in favor of the need to grow creativity through an ecological approach, which conceptualizes creativity as a dynamic interplay between individuals, communities, and social cultural contexts. Within that framework, creativity emerges through interactions between diverse actors, resources, and environmental factors. By applying this model to predictive AI, we can understand AI development as a collaborative endeavor involving technologists, data scientists, ethicists, policymakers, teachers, and students, all equally importantly. Predictive AI interacts with broader sociocultural dynamics, reflecting and influencing prevailing values, beliefs, and norms, a process that I call cultural remixing. Predictive AI technologies driven by machine learning algorithms and big data analytics offer powerful opportunities for enhancing educational experiencing by bridging the so-called scientific and creative approaches, which I'm sure we here today know are not binary or dualistic opposites. By analyzing large data sets, predictive AI can anticipate learners' needs, personalize learning experiences, provide real-time feedback, and should not be considered a threat to teacher efficacy or teacher training or employment. It provides a collaborative opportunity for us to work better, bigger, and more creatively. These technologies have the potential to augment creative learning environments by generating novel insights, facilitating collaboration, and fostering adaptive learning experiences, which I believe is the opposite of standardization. The view of AI as purely functional, and I'm sure we'll hear much more about this today, overlooks, I believe, its creative potential. By approaching generative AI and other machine learning and AI technologies through my creative ecologies framework, we can see how it can enhance education through a range of areas, including partnerships, place, policy, processes, and products. We already know that generative AI is a creative tool that shaped, and importantly, for me, this is core, is shaped by our social cultural contexts in which it operates. It's not neutral, and I think we know that on this side of the world, maybe not so well in other parts of the world. It's not culturally neutral. It's shaped by and helps shape the locations and cultures in which it is programmed and being built. Machine learning and AI, like all innovation and creative leaps forward, operate within dynamic ecosystems of tech innovation, cultural influences, imperialism, neocolonialism, as well as human creativity. It adapts and evolves over time, iteratively refining its models and strategies in response to changing inputs and feedback, which is, by the way, a hallmark of creative adaptation within and part of complex systems. Generative AI is at its heart a creative and collaborative tool, I firmly believe. So, to conclude, and quoting another elder, Maxine Green, she says, "It is with regard for contingency, yes, and for multiplicity and plurality, that I would argue for the kinds of standards that make possible an ongoing civil conversation, a dialogue that reconciles differences, and that leads with occasions open always for renewal to the constitution of a common world." And I believe if we work together interculturally, just like this conference is, that we can move toward that common world that values difference but has common agendas. So in closing, the integration of STEAM, creative thinking, and predictive AI represents such an exciting opportunity for truly reimagining education in the 21st century. At RMIT University and in our Creative Education Futures Consortium, we reject binaries like STEM or STEAM, creative thinking versus doing, machine versus human learning and innovation. We are integrated systems, human and machine, and the task now is to create inclusive relational learning ecologies that foster critical thinking, creativity, and restorative and empowering education journeys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan, for uh, sort of not defining, but setting the tone for this session and reminding us those fallacies, which we too often and too easy fell victim of with our even with our best intentions. And I think this is the time of not only risk taking, but many risks and many kinds of failures and also those kind of failures where restoration uh, is really can be a demanding work as always, and we need to be attentive to that, and there are some fallacies to avoid as well, not only to be brave to fail, right? So thanks a lot for it. It was really eye-opening and thought-provoking. And as I recommended, we will continue getting energy from your flow. And I will give the floor to the next speaker. But at the same time, I would like to encourage everyone to make comments, questions, reflections in the chat. And I'm sure that Dan can see the chat line, and maybe they can also react to your thoughts. So next speaker is another wonderful friend from another a part of the world, not too far actually from Australia. So we have Jamie Lowe from the Education University of Hong Kong. Dr. Jamie Lowe is a senior lecturer at the Education University of Hong Kong and the program leader of a postgraduate diploma in education. Also, she's very young, but she's already a veteran training specialist in teacher education, and her specialty is early childhood music education and STEAM education. Graduated from Queensland with a and also Doctor of Education with specialization of STEAM. Member of Royal Society of Arts in London. So I think many connection points also in your background and also dance interests. So the floor is yours. I'm really excited to hear your talk. Thank you.
Hi everyone here. Could you all hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear
Hello.
you very clear and see your presentation.
Great
Yes.
to know. Thanks very much. First of all, thanks very much for Christoph and the host. I'm very honored to be here. And good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. Very nice to meet you all here. I'm Jamie from Education University of Hong Kong, Department of Early Childhood Education. And today, the topic that I would like to present is engaging students' creative thinking in transdisciplinary collaborative learning experience through STEAM-based activities in Hong Kong contexts. And it aims to investigate the students' creative thinking skills in a developed solution in human perspective in everyday life through designing the human-centered design instruments. We call it like HCDIs. And students were invited to apply Makey invention kit to design the HCDIs for the little children at kindergarten. So throughout the project, actually STEAM specific creative learning thinking model, CLTM, was illustrated for the curricular design for these STEAM-based activities in classroom settings. And so what actually is HCDIs here? It actually helps the students to provide solutions to real problem in social contexts. We large emphasis was put in human perspectives. So we focus quite a lot on human experience, human interactions, and emphasizing the needs and try to improve the usability. So it enhanced the strong link between the creative thinking and the transdisciplinary learning in the process. And the tools we use in this STEAM-based activities this time is the Mihye invention kit. And students self-made their different creative music instruments for the kindergarten for the children at kindergarten, and it acts as an experimental platform for them to participate in some practical innovation with their own expression. So providing some background of implementation of STEAM education in Hong Kong context, actually our Hong Kong government strongly supports the implementation of STEAM. And they even mentioned in the last policy address, but yet we do not have a very, very concrete guidelines. And the curriculum actually varies quite a lot in a large extent in different types of school in Hong Kong. Depends on the hardware and the software. So that's why, as such, in this research project, like class observation, focus group interviews, and some visual journals were conducted for collecting data, like how to engage students' creative thinking in transdisciplinary collaborative learning experience through the STEAM-based activities. For the participants, 28 Form 1 students, like secondary 1 students, participated in this activity, designing these HTCIs for the KG students. And they all equipped with musical knowledge when they studied in the primary school. And all students participated in the class observations and the visual journals, while 5 of them joined the focus group interview as well. So this is the plan of the data collections. So for the class observation, we focus quite a lot on the process of how they create the HCDIs with the Mihye kit. And for the focus group interviews, we hope that we can have a better understanding of the student engagement and their mostly important, the perception in the STEAM projects. And a visual journal, we will focus more on the design process and students' the creative thinking when designing their HCDIs. So let's take a look at a class observation arrangement. Actually, I divided into like 3 stages, and 3 observations were taken place, and each observation actually like lasts around 45 minutes to an hour. And we try to observe like how the young children at kindergarten as the user, like how they enjoy and learn through these HCDIs with the guidance of the student designer, that is who is the secondary 1 students as the creator. And it was found that like students in the class who were very good at music and arts were able to think more ideas about their product designs, and they focus quite a lot on the appearance of the product as well. And most of the students are very proactive in expressing their opinions and providing feedbacks with their group mates. And so that we can see that the collaborative effort is very obvious and strong. And it was observed that this activity allowed the students to demonstrate their individual strengths and bring the different forms of knowledge, including skills in technology, drawing, and musical instrument skills with no pressure. They enjoyed quite a lot. And this triggers the students' imagination and encourage them to go beyond in exploring other potential possibilities. So students' creative thinking, I can say that it has been promoted in this activity. And they even go to the kindergarten as a site visit. And the children, like as users, actively participate in the activity. And they were even able to improvise simple tools through the play and movement without any prior knowledge by just following the instructions from the student designer, that is the secondary one students. And these student designers were able to generate an answer to overcome the problem on site in response to the children's reaction. For example, like the student designer can quickly adjust the size of the cardboard paper that you can see in the picture. They found that, oh, then it's not big enough for the young children to step on it. And they even noticed that the cardboard actually will be easily broken when the children jumped on it. So they make some adjustment on it. So we can see that like level of fluency and elaboration in creative thinking is really noticeable in this experimental stage during the site visit. And in addition, one semi-structured focus group interview was conducted with 5 students. And these interview questions were designed with reference to the 5 stages of the framework of creative thinking spiral from Mitch Ransnick, namely as imagine, create, play, share, reflect, and then back to imagine. So the interview aims to explore the process of students' learning experience and the perception in being a designer of the product for the specific young users like the kindergarten children in real-world contexts. And the students will also ask about the perspectives on fostering creative thinking and learning in the classroom, and it helps us to have a more comprehensive understanding of the students' engagement in the STEAM project through using the Makey Makey toolkit. And they share quite a lot based on the 5 stage of creative learning spiral. And from the imagine part, they actually imagine their product design with the linkage of the personal experience and the memory as a kid. And they also started their imagination from the unique needs from the young children's perspectives in the real world context. And they made a very good use of their prior knowledge as well. And they enriched before when they designed the human-centered design instruments. Quite a number of the students mentioned the prior knowledge about Scratch that they learned in primary school. And most of the students are very eager to explore different materials in realizing the mental image of their designed products as well. So the fluency in creative thinking is quite proactive, and they try to think numbers of materials when they try to create and perfect the products. And furthermore, they also express that the playing experience of the site visit at kindergarten play a very important role because it helps them to observe the characteristics of the young children and consider the strengths and the limitation when designing these instruments. For example, they concern the safety of the newly designed products and try to revamp it into a more user-friendly product with the balance in abilities in creativity and contextual understanding. So from the sharing, it is seen that they have a very positive attitude there, and elaboration skills was shown, and they constantly built on and extended one another's work based on the responsiveness or some suggestions from the users and from the group mates. And they feel quite delighted in becoming the student designer because in this project, they figured out that they have the necessary quality to be the designer and create something new and meaningful to the society. And another methodology is the visual journal. So most of the participants work out the visual journals in groups that you can see on the screens, and they are encouraged to showcase the ideas in different forms of expression. You can see some pictures, see some text there, and then they can show the really detailed ideas in their visual thinking, including the physical appearance of these HCDIs and also the technical connection between the HCDIs and the computer. And they further elaborate with some short narratives with their own words. And you can see that they can personalize their description by relating it to the perspective of the target users, like the children, and also their experience as well. Particularly, you can see from the picture that you can see some little arrows. So it shows a very traditional game for the children jumping on it, like going up and going down, like. So in the 21st century, is very crucial for us to inspire students to be more creative and innovative for getting ready to solve the real-world challenges and to support the implementation of the STEAM-based activities for engaging them on students' creative thinking in Hong Kong context. I think that teachers may transform their identity from the content deliverer to the content guide. So STEAM specific creative learning thinking model, CLTM, was illustrated for the curricular design for the STEAM-based activities. So educator may set the learning starting from a problem in a real-world context, which motivates the students to solve it and explore the problems with the knowledge integration across the STEAM disciplines and try to obtain more and more hands-on activities and experience in the product design and then try to encourage them to work out some creative ideas collaboratively with sharing and try to reflect the outcomes with the co-evolution of problems and solutions. So to conclude, this project shows an example in engaging students' creative thinking in the transdisciplinary collaborative learning, and it successfully encouraged students to examine some real-life issues from different many perspectives. And they also gain the understanding of the adaptability of the real-life situation. And actually, for me, it is seen that a learning community is gradually built in the STEAM project, and which are able to support diverse students' capabilities in learning their own level of expertise and their pace with comfort. So I think that this kind of collaborative learning environment can foster students' creative thinking as well as create a sense of belonging in their learning process. So this is my short sharing for you all. So hope you enjoy it, and thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Bravo, Jamie. Very, very key points added to our dialogue. And thanks a lot for the contribution and also very strictly keeping this very challenging time frame what we have today. And I'm very happy to see that conversation is very vivid also in the chat line. So I would like to encourage you to take a look at the chat and also contribute to the chat. Maybe even if there are some language barriers, you can utilize now for good the AI tools available to contribute to the conversation. So next speaker is another great friend. Of course, we are all getting friends here sooner or later. This is Dr. Jari Laru, who is not too far, even physically, from me at the moment. Only like 600 kilometers, maybe four. I'm not sure. Maybe only 400 kilometers in Oulu. I think so. If he's at his home place, he will let us know maybe where he's at the moment. He's a university lecturer and educational technologist at the Faculty of Education in the University of Oulu. And he's a key figure also in teachers' preparation in Finland about the AI boom. He's involved in various pragmatic and theoretical programs, and he's a great expert in how to combine learning sciences with emerging technologies. He's a consortium member of the Generation AI Research Project, which is one of the key flagship projects from the Strategic Research Council of Finland. So, Jari, the floor is yours. I think you will share with us the rest. Please give the opportunity to Jari to open his mic. Wonderful.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, Christoph. Can you see my screen and hear voice?
Yes, we can see. If you make it full screen, I don't know if you see, but we can see your screen and we can hear you.
This panel, yes. Okay. So present and full screen and present and okay. So I check the clock.
Perfect.
So I have 15 minutes so far.
Perfect.
So thank you for invitation to this conference. I will speak about the topic how to teach AI literacy to primary school children, like AI education in K-12. I'm not familiar with Convergence Education. I have been listening and learning new, but I have been responsible for STEAM subject studies at our university and so on. But now I have a full focus on AI. And that picture is generated by AI, and it's describing Finland somehow. Winter is coming, and lakes are frozen soon, and Santa Claus is coming, and so on. But anyway, Christoph introduced that I'm a member of that Generation AI Consortium, and we have a multidisciplinary research project, which is pretty huge. We have educational scientists from 3 universities, law scientists from 2 universities, and computer scientists from 2 universities, and then Code School Finland, Hyyraka Science Center, and Science Fest science exhibition. And as a part of strategic research like an initiative, we belong to a wider community of projects which focus on security and trust in the world of information technologies and hybrid influence. And our focus are school children and teenagers. And those 3 other projects in this program have a focus elsewhere. We develop pedagogical frameworks and artificial intelligence and pedagogical frameworks for artificial intelligence and security education. And we develop different kind of teaching tools, materials, methods, etc. But also we promote children's rights and participate into law making and regulation activities and that kind of things. And how we approach AI is more or less so that we think about that AI is like a learning target somehow, that we teach children to understand about AI and also understand the impact of artificial intelligence. And we teach them to be more agentic, that they are active participants in that age of AI, not just consumers of AI products. And why we have that kind of approach? The issue is that average Finnish 13-year-old child has a, let's say, 70 million database on different servers. It can be Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, whatever. Even though those services have a age limit, children and teenagers are still using those. So that data is a huge issue. And data is actually training material for artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is used to analyze data and also automate different kind of activities and actions. And all interesting and nice applications and tools and devices are based on data. So data is the like a very, very big topic. And we create tools and materials for children and teenagers to understand that phenomena, that we are being modeled and our behavior is predicted. Our activities are profiled and groups of similar people are clustered, etc. So how to teach that kind of issues in the world where discussion is more or less concentrated to very simple issues and topics, like a TikTok is a heavy debate in Finland. That's TikTok is causing blah, blah, blah. It's not TikTok. It's not even a mobile phone. It's an artificial intelligence embedded into different kind of software, phones, devices, and so on. So artificial intelligence is the thing. And mainstream teacher or student doesn't understand so much about AI. They may know that AI is a ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot or something, some kind of similar trademark, but they don't understand societal aspects of AI and the effects of AI, and they don't have like a tools to really teach about AI. Okay, how to do that in action? it's a very huge challenge. So it has been said that making children and young people aware of that kind of technology, it's one of the most significant challenges of 21st century. It's a very huge challenge, and it's a challenge for all of us, not just for us in the Generation AI project. So we need to develop a new kind of literacies. We can call those literacies data literacy and AI literacy, but it can be also under different name, like a data agency or AI agency. It depends on the people how these are like presented. But how we teach that kind of literacies, like AI literacy, data literacy in the context of AI, that is the thing what we are doing. It's our primary thing. We develop our annual clock has a cycle that we have a 6 years project. So each year we have a development cycle where we put prototypes to schools and we collect research data, but also develop new versions of prototypes, so that after that development cycle, we can launch tools and materials to teachers outside of our project. So our main end beneficiary is not another researcher is a normal teacher in a normal school with a school students. So our first application is a teachable machine. We could say that it's a Google teachable machine 2.0. So we have taken into account that research written about Google teachable machine and other machine learning teaching tools. And one very crucial thing is that our competitors require coding, but our approach doesn't need coding at all. But anyway, even though kids doesn't need to code, they will learn and understand whole machine learning process, from data collection, AI training, evaluating that AI model, and so on, until application develop to ready application and application development, and they can deploy those applications to other students. So this is a simplified version of the same thing. So with a teachable machine, we can teach phenomena like data, machine learning, classification, bias, fragility, and that kind of things. And we have public free tool. You can use it and you can localize it to Korean language. It's a normal GitHub based GitHub repository where you can get the code and other materials. And learning materials are mostly in Finnish at the moment, and localization is done with a Google Translator, so it's not perfect, but you can understand anyway. But anyway, that like a teaching data classification application is the workflow. Everything is, let's say, okay. Oh, this picture has an issue. But anyway, pupils' understanding when they used artificial intelligence in school projects is improved. So we emphasize that artificial intelligence teaching in schools need to be properly implemented, and actually it needs to follow that kind of methods and theories and guidelines and technologies needs to be like a serious, that we don't have a choice. For example, this teachable machine application, it's using ImageNet and PostNet models, which are used also for commercial purposes. And it's a deep learning algorithm technology, which got that Nobel Prize in physics. So same deep learning algorithms are working in that. Okay, and yes, so that use of that teachable machine like develops children's AI understanding, And another possibility is, of course, hold. And over there is a recycling machine, like in the context of steam. So it can recognize glass, cardboard, and that kind of things. Yes, thank you. Here in Oulu. And those three guys won that competition with that recycling machine, which was based on that classifier. And then they shared the machine learning model from classifier to Lego EV programming, which was done in the Scratch, special version of Scratch. And then that Lego EV robotics actually was behind of that recycling machine. This is like a much like a difficult version of understanding AI, and based on global research, scientific research, it's not the best way to teach AI. This one is better. That no need for coding, but some students enjoy of the challenges and so on. Okay, our second application at the moment is social media emulator, and this is first ever in whole world. So this is something big. So we actually can simulate like a real on the real time Instagram style social media, so that students understand in the context of that simulator data, how their actions actually form data, how they follow pictures, they like pictures, share those, comment, etc. And they also will understand how the actions are profiled. That when some students like, for example, food-related pictures, some like nature-related pictures, etc. That the AI first it will profile those students. That one student may have a profile with food pictures and nature pictures, one student with cars and so on. And then AI will cluster those profiles so that all nature all persons who like a lot of nature pictures from one cluster, and food pictures one cluster, etc. And after that, they see on the real time how recommendation engine works, like how content is recommended, and which is based on clustering and so on. And these both tools, like this teachable machine and Somekone, are built for primary school students. So those are pretty easy to use and so on. But when we are teaching, for example, concept data, we have a profile game which is separate from social media machine. And profile game is a place where students try to guess, like estimate that what kind of person would be behind of these pictures. And it's like a before using social media machine. Okay, it's a 15-year-old guy and lives in Tampere in Finland, and has hobbies like playing, skating, ice hockey, and so on. And then after that, we continue so that profiling can be done automatically. That Somekone social media emulator is an Instagram simulator, blah, blah, blah. It collects data and so on. And then we will showcase that role of AI in that context. And we develop science-based teaching materials. So, for example, this is from the context of teachable machine. So we have research on technology side and on pedagogy side, and then we distill that research to white paper style books in Finnish without scientific references at all. Just a book which represents a research-based solution to teach that kind of AI thing. And furthermore, we continue so that we publish materials on web page and as a PowerPoint presentation and that kind of things, that teachers who doesn't have interest to white paper style material, they can just take a presentation and have a lesson. We try to serve different kind of educators. And we are international, so Teachable Machine is available at the moment in Finnish, English, Finnish 2 times. Finnish, English, Germany, Portuguese, Russian, Swedish, and Ukraine. And it's, like I said earlier, it's very easy to translate to different languages, like localized, normal localization process. And Somekone Social Media Simulator is available at the moment in Finnish and English. And that's all. I try to be fast, so I'm open for your comments and questions so far. I would have let's say, material for hours and hours of presentations and workshops and so on, but now in the time frame of 15 minutes, I try to be very, let's say, fast.
Amazing. Thank you for the very disciplined approach to our time frame to our speakers. If you can stop your screen sharing, Jari, then I would like to put all speakers pinned on the screen. And let me open this discussion with a question first to Jari, but welcome everyone to contribute. So Jari, in Finland, the main educational approach was access for all. And this was the baseline so far, and this is the baseline so far. However, AI doesn't seem for me the same kind of problem like having a better computer or not, but like having internet or not in terms of accessing to very advanced AIs and less advanced, and even just to access the AI. So when we also have a debate, and this was also in the chat, of restricting mobiles, restricting different devices in schools, how do you see this very critical issue of giving the same chance to everyone and having the school still as a place for social transition when there are these very, I would say, aggressively high-end and highly energy efficient, not efficient, but energy hunger technologies, resource hunger technologies here?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I start from our applications that our applications are run locally. So when end user starts, for example, Teachable Machine, it will be loaded to web browser, and it's a server is a local web browser, and we can share access to that web browser so that even you from Korea would use Teachable Machine together with me. But all calculations are done locally. So it's very efficient and safe, and our safety measures are very strict. So we don't collect and share anything. So we know only measure what we know from our products. For example, yesterday our developer said that Teachable Machine has been opened 10,000 times, but we don't know who is using that. We don't have any that kind of statistics. But comes to general purpose AI like ChatGPT, Copilot, etc. Technology is available for local small and large language models. That I think that the educational that kind of generative AI will be run in the future on local computers. But at the moment, it's demanding that you need to have special like a powerful computers, and especially you need to have a nerdy skills. Like I was repairing our laser cutter at the same time when I was preparing presentation and so on. So I'm nerd in our faculty, but many colleagues in teacher education and normal schools, they are not nerds. So that's why we use those Microsoft-related tools, that kind of things. Or it's possible to use our learning about AI tools, which are made to be very simple. Our design principle in our project context was to do commercial level tools, which are very usable and easy to use, and like a resource-wise. But yeah,
Yeah.
we try to offer our experience to all in
Thank
Finland
you so much.
and
Yeah, I see. Then you have a lot of comments and questions. Please share your reflections.
No, I asked Jamie a question first about what the greatest obstacles to her work, the wonderful work that she shared with us are, and she answered it in the chat. But Jamie, maybe you wanted to say something more about that
Yeah, I
because I
can
think it's
supplement a
such a
little bit.
global.
Yeah, sure. I'm not sure whether it happens in all countries actually, but in Hong Kong setting, so actually especially in secondary school, the schedule is very tight, and actually STEAM education is not considered as a very formal curricula in the curriculum guide. So that some of the school may just take it as a like extracurricular activities, and it's really hard to spend time like over a week or over a month to work on some projects there. So I'm lucky to have these students participated in these projects. And actually, after these projects, the principal supports a lot, and then they see a very obvious outcomes. And actually, from the time being, they keep going on year by year now. Yeah, at least they implement the STEAM week in the academic year. So this is, I think this is the happy thing that we can witness.
Yeah. Thank you. Then um, let me ask you that did you try any time, and this is like a moment of truth. Did you try any time to use any of these AI tools, whatever generative, whatever's for your for artistic purposes? Did you test? Did you try? Did have you done? And if you done, what's your reflection and what kind of cautions you might have?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's your experience as an artist?
Look, I mean, I guess yes. The answer is yes. I haven't used it for traditionally creative work like making a performance or something like that, but I've used it for writing presentations or drafting. So like that iterative, you know, relationship with it. But I guess I'm just very fascinated by the fear surrounding it, and I think that's for very good reason. There's a lot to be concerned with that we could talk about all day long. But I believe that in education, we're pretty conservative a lot of the time. And what I see is that a lot of other sectors are really embracing the creative aspects of it and the potential of it. And sometimes in teacher education, at least, we are just in this state of fear and worry and trying to control, you know, how it's coming into our classrooms. And meanwhile, the kids are just using it anyway. So I think it's one of those wonderful moments where the students, the young people are kind of zooming ahead of us. And I think that's always a wonderful, exciting opening for learning to teach differently. Or like one of the speakers said, you know, like being a guide rather than a content deliverer. I think this is instantiating. That's been coming with the internet, presence of the internet anyway, but I think generative AI is like, you know, I think in my experience, students at all levels are using it already in ways that teachers aren't necessarily aware. So I just think all of that is interesting. And just lastly, I would say that as an artist, I think that for the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a lot of arguments or debates about, you know, AI can't be creative, only humans can be creative. And I personally view that now already that argument is past, and people are talking about in what ways is it. And um, I don't think that's a controversial thing necessarily to think or say anymore, because we too are programmed by our education and socialization, aren't we? We're not unprogrammed machines.
Evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love it. It's been a great panel. It's all
Yeah,
fascinating.
fantastic.
Thank
I think we've been so lucky to come together today because we have seen, heard, experienced three very different perspectives around similar phenomena. and I think conversation really happened here. So just to share a little experience as a closing. So we were running an exhibit and where we had an AI platform as well to openly to be used by the children who visited this exhibit. This was a visual generative AI platform. And I was very interested that to see the students' works as these are like mirrors, like reflecting what we already knew about us and representing something about us, or is it like a window to something outside of us, or using it as a vault as to departure from ourselves. But I was so curious to see something else, not even a mirror, not even a window, but something else. And I'm really fascinated to find out if this something else will come or not, or if we will stuck in our other binarities, these age-old metaphors, mirror, window, picture, and so on, or there is this something else is coming from the very creative point of approach. So thanks a lot for this session. Let's finish here with so many questions, and let's continue the dialogue in various platforms later, also as a follow-up as the ICAS conference. I wish you to have a good rest of the day. Please follow the program. I think there will be now a short break coming up, like 10 minutes break from now. And then please join back to the roundtable discussion. I think we will stay in this room. So those of you who are in this room and want to continue with the roundtable discussion, please stay in this room. I will also share as a link the booklet, so you can check out what else is coming up. Thank you so much. Have a good break. Thanks for all the speakers. It was a great session. I really enjoyed. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. And
See
you
you
can
again.
find me with my name. I forgot to say. I'm very active on internet. So
Yes,
bye-bye.
yes. Let's socialize in not only in the what was it, the artificial social media or the learning social, but the real social media you can use also to get connected. Okay, thank you. See you again.